good people on the quest for good content? Welcome back to Song of the Week. I am your host, Jordan Bell, and we got a good one today. I'm here with my brother out there in Riverside, California. Dave Love, what's happening?
Yes, sir. How you feel, brother?
Man, I'm good, bro. How have you been?
Good, man. Hanging in there.
Little Cleveland connection, the little Cleveland Heights connection today. I love it, man.
The legitimacy of having homies from the hometown.
For sure. I was thinking the other day about the Heights, man, and thinking about like you went to school with a lot of talented cats.
I did. Not even know how talented they would show off later, but yeah, I did.
Yeah, like Heights had a hell of a run in that time. Like you went to school with both the Kelsey brothers, right?
Yes, sir. Well, I think Jason might have been graduated already, but yeah, Travis Kelsey for sure is only like 2 years older than me.
Yeah, and then there was you, obviously, and then there was the younger kid. Would you have gone to school with Malcolm? Malcolm up next?
Wasn't in school with me, but that is the homie for sure.
Okay.
We didn't linked up. He didn't came to my house. We did videos together. We had a little run where we was doing like covers like every week, like once a week.
Yeah.
But he's a little younger than me, so he was at Heights after I graduated.
Okay. Yeah, I remember the YouTube videos you guys did. And then Eric Jones, who's Travis's homeboy, that's out here actually in the DMV doing fashion and all that stuff. So shouts out to the Heights, man. A very talented group of people coming out of that area.
Out here, man. We out here.
Yeah. And so you've been doing music now for quite a bit. I think your first album came out in what, 2016?
No, I think my first mixtape came out in 2013.
Okay, 2013. I'm looking at Gold Mine is the first one that's on like Spotify and whatnot.
As an EP to sell like on iTunes, Gold Mine.
Got you. So one of the things I was wondering as I was like listening to your music and going back through the discography, what came first, bro? Were you a piano player that transitioned into a singer? Were you a singer player that picked up the piano? Which one came first, the voice or the piano?
I was a church kid who picked up the piano, and then I could sing, so I would sing to myself. I wasn't really putting nothing together. I started playing church like 10, 11. I would try to mess around on the piano.
Okay.
They had a piano in her dining room. So whether it be Sunday or that was where we was always at, I played it there. And that's how I got equipped with the piano. But I was in band school, so that's why I love the aspect. I actually played saxophone. So my main instrument is saxophone. And then I picked up piano from church and school, and then I started.
So how did all that come about? Did you grow up in like was it a musical family or a musical household that you grew up in, or did you just kind of naturally gravitate toward that stuff? How'd that come about?
So in the house, it was really just me who sang. My dad, he had a studio, so I was around music and the concept of making beats and stuff like that. But I didn't really get to like when I was in band. But now he grew up in church, so if we have any singers like church, I got a couple cousins who sing really well, but nothing to say like for a music fan.
For sure.
Had a couple of bright lights,
Okay. And did it start out with like, did you kind of know from the jump? Like you listen to different artists. Like I listened to Neo talk about like he had this moment where I can't remember who the artist was, but he heard this beautiful song by somebody and he knew from then on, like, yo, music is going to be my thing. Was it like that for you, or were you kind of just playing around with it?
That's a great. So, Music Soul Child, Soul Star album. My mom used to play that weekends. Would be cleaning up. Like she just had a bunch of songs that were going rotations. That album was what made me like, oh yeah, though, I connect with music. Like it's like I'm warm wiping these walls right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, it feels good, sweet because I hear what you know what I'm saying. So I think that's the album for me personally that made me say, oh yeah, like I have some connection with music that I think is a little more than just I like music. And I think that's when I started like the idea of I could do that. Like I could write music, I could write poems that sound dope.
When you first started performing, like, did you get that kind of adrenaline rush? Like, where did you first start performing? Did you first start performing in front of people in church?
I had one solo in church, and to me, if you ask me, it was like,
Okay.
it was terrible. I wish I could go back and do it a little different. But in church, no, I didn't really have too many standout situations like solos or anything. But my first performance was honestly with my own music. My first show ever was Summer Jams of 2013. That's crazy. 2013 Summer Jams in Cleveland. I had won the radio contest where you get to vote and have a person perform.
Z1079.
Yeah, I 1079 Summer Jam.
Yeah.
There was a bunch of dope people there that year too. Like, it was that was dope. That was my first performance. That was it. So I got through right into the large mass of people to where the next performance that I was at Coventry, and it was a more intimate crowd. A lot smaller people, but
Yeah.
I think those are more nerve wracking than anything. So yeah, I think when I first started, yeah, that was it. I think it was the summer. That was my first performance. For real. Yeah, I was trying to think if I had like any open mics or anything like that, but I wasn't even open mics back
That's a hell of a place to start, man. Summer Jam's a big that's a big platform to get.
my boy Mob was there with me. Shout out to Mob. He was the only person that could make it there with me. He was right there with me. He was in the crowd. He when I came out. He took pictures.
That's what's up, man. Shouts out to Mob. No, that's fire. And so you started with that, and then from there, you kind of took off and you started putting out albums, or what was the next step after that?
So after Summer Jams, what I did was I took the social media route. Um, I had a bunch of videos that were viral. Twitter, um, Twitter didn't always minute videos. Like this generation is spoiled, but well, it's called X now, but back then it was Twitter, and at first your videos was like 15 seconds or something. It was a limit to how long you could put it.
Yeah,
I think the day after Twitter gave me like the ability to put like 30-second or longer videos, like a mini video, I had posted a video of me and my son singing that went viral, and that's what like, kind of helped me take off. Like Summer Jam was cool, but only people from Cleveland would have been there to know it. So I just
yeah.
as that next step for me.
And the video with you and your son, that was pretty early in your development as an artist. So that's around the time I met you, right? I probably met you a couple months before that video came out.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, and I remember. And I'm sure you remember this, but when I first started podcasting, you were one of the episode I did with you at Ev's crib was one of the more dynamic ones I did, and we ended up not putting that one out because there was too much background noise. But I remember talking to you before we actually turned the mics on, and you were like, "Man, my phone been going crazy, bro. Like life is changing very quickly."
Yeah. Like okay, so that's even so okay. So then when I post that video, I go to sleep. The next day I wake up and I'm doing this for like over just like 3 days, bro. Like
Yeah,
I think we all was linking up at Ev's for the thing, and my phone was still like constantly nonstop to the point where I had to turn my notifications off. They've been off ever since. Like it's been what almost 10 years. I don't have no Twitter and notifications. I have that. Still turn the notifications on because I was so traumatized from that week of not being able to do nothing. My phone was down like every hour. It's just constant vibration playing. Like there's you could scroll through the notifications for days.
yeah. But that's the way this stuff works now. That's the moment that artists are kind of looking for, right? Like you're all, we talk about, me and the team at Good People Content. We talk about like we're not trying to go viral in the sense of like we're not trying to do stuff that's silly that people will catch on to for a second and then go away. But at the same time, we are kind of trying to go viral, right? Like we're trying to create something that people are going to mess with. So, and you had that moment, and when I was telling the guys about interviewing you, I sent them that video. I was like, yo, like this kind of changed the trajectory of his whole career right here.
It really was the start because if I look back on it now, I always feel like I did more with every time I just I just wish I knew what you know what I'm saying. I had to go through first to learn to see things differently. But yeah, those are what artists need. Artists need those moments to be exposed. You know, I've had a couple feel like I just done more with those moments.
For sure.
It's a learning process. For sure.
Yeah, absolutely. One one of the things that I was curious, and I remember talking to you about this when we did the podcast years ago. What what music did you listen to growing up? Like I think I remember telling you. It's funny that you mentioned Soul Child because I think I said you are like to me a blend of like music, Soul Child, Usher, and I think there was one other artist that I threw in there, and I'm blanking on it now. But I'm curious what you listened to a lot as a kid and as you kind of started your journey.
Yeah, so it was very spot on. It was music, soul child, Usher. I listened to Lauren Hill, um, India Ari, a lot of the soulful artists that I'm like back then because that's what was being played. So, Jill Scott, um, my dad was a hip hop head, so then I had KRS-One. He listened to all of the hip hop that he feels is real hip hop. He loved Jay Z, Pac. He grew up on Pac and Big. He said that was his era. He felt like he was robbed of his hip hop when people got killed. You know,
Yeah,
from the hip hop side, a lot of different influences, but on the singing side, pure music, soul child, Usher, Stevie Wonder was one of my favorites for real.
ooh,
Just
okay,
because he played piano, that was just, he was probably one of the greatest musicians.
okay. You touched on it a little bit. I was going to ask you. You rap a little bit on almost every album, man, and it sounds like did that come from your pops? Like you're talking about your pops and his musical influence. Is that where that came from?
So yeah, now that I think about it, when you put it like that way, I think like the percentage of times that I projects and like in my catalog, it's probably the percentage of times like I listen to music with my dad versus what I listen to music with my mom. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times he'd be in the basement vibing, smoking. You know what I'm saying? So the kids couldn't be down there. Mom's upstairs. We listening to different music because that's where we at. That rare percentage of that smaller percentage downstairs with him, like yeah, we getting hip hop on, watching him rap, listening to him freestyle. You know, picking up on people he listened to see why he. You know what I'm saying? I used to listen to battle rap.
Yeah. Yo, battle rap had we're of that generation where there was this era where like watching YouTube videos of battle raps was a real thing. Like I remember the only dude by name I can really remember was Murder Mook, but I remember watching all these Murder Mook rap battle videos on YouTube back in the day.
Yes, sir. Yeah, man. Definitely. But yeah, I definitely make sure I consciously rap on at least every project of a couple songs, just for the versatility. I want to say things differently that I might not be able to sing sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah,
got
that's
got to show that versatility.
nah, that's what's up. Do you what's your process like? Like you have five or six albums now out on Spotify and all those platforms. What's your process like when you go into the studio? Like, are you listening to other people? Like, what's your creative process like when you're trying to put down an album?
I think it's changed over the years, but before moving to California, I would listen to a bunch of different people that I liked, or just people's beats that I liked
Okay.
from different artists, songs that were already out. Listening to their instead of doing covers to their instrumentals, making beats in that same tempo, different key, different sound, but with that same tempo, that same concept, creating my own ideas that way. Um, I used to get instrumentals and then just listen to them all week. I would drive around in the car and just listen to instrumentals for weeks instead of just regular music. Like people would hate getting in the car with me because I'm just playing blank, instrumentals from whoever I got. I would get beats from homies that I had that were producers that were dope. Um, I'm sure I'm in a bunch of producers' emails, like they build packages to people. I get a bunch of those. But post moving to California and like building my own setup, getting my own studio to do everything myself. The process could be anywhere from me recording a voice memo at work to being here, making a beat, and then recording something, or again, styling over somebody else's stuff, coming home, laying an idea down, having a melody that I was humming all day, having the ability to record whatever I want when I want to now makes the process a little different, a lot easier.
Yeah. No, we're always curious about what people's processes are like. Like we just interviewed LaRussell, and I was asking LaRussell about like he'll do an album in a day, maybe two, right? And we were asking him like how crazy is that? Like what are those studio sessions are like? So yeah, we're always super interested in what it's like. Everybody's creative process because everybody's different, right? Some people like a room full of people. Some people like to be in their dolo. So I'm and I do creative stuff as well. Like I do creative writing. This is creative, right? So we're just curious about that stuff here on this channel for sure.
I for sure, I would rather be more isolated for the people, so I can really.
Okay.
Um, but I don't have a problem having like a couple people around just to hear it to give me honest, like, hey, how did that? Should I use this word? That's cool too. But for the most part, yeah, I'm gonna lock in by myself.
Yeah.
Everybody gone because
For,
now I can do it all myself now.
yeah, for sure. All right. Well, on that note, let's get into a little song of the week, make some picks. So I went back, I listened to the whole discography, man, and I had heard most of it before. I don't think I had heard Goldmine Part 1 yet. So I think that was my first time running that one. But other than that, I think I had run all your other albums before. But I always go back, man, to Social Love Media. That's my favorite Dave Love project. And so my song of the week is gonna be "Good Love Is" off of Social Love Media. I like a lot of stuff about this song, man. But as I was running through it again the last couple days, it's interesting. You mentioned Stevie Wonder, and Stevie Wonder to me has the best love song of all time, and as right, like it's just the most beautifully written love song ever. "Good Love Is" to me is interesting because it's kind of a love song about like how to love each other instead of about how to love a spouse,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Yeah, it's like a love song for humanity.
yeah, yes, sir.
Yeah, and so it's just different. It's a different approach to a love song. It's beautifully written, and then you've got the piano solo at the end where you're singing about kind of just like being a black man. I'm curious. I'm curious what inspired that because I went back and listened to it, and it took me back to 2020 with the George Floyd stuff, and then I was like, this came out before that. Like, so what inspired that? Because that album came out in 2017, kind of pre this huge Black Lives Matter movement.
Yeah. So, okay, that's crazy to even think about. So at the end of that video, so at the end of that, song, the good love is. Now that I think about it, yeah, there is just a what that was. That was a video that was on my Instagram.
Mm-hmm.
Um, there was a lot going on. It was before George Floyd, but there was another kid. I'm sorry, the with the Rice family, Tamir Rice.
Tamir Rice, the kid in Cleveland, right?
Yeah, the kid from Cleveland who got killed.
Okay,
It was just a bunch of you know shit like that going on. Still, you know what I'm saying? Like it's just
sure.
so much, so little has changed from that time frame. So that's where the video came from. So, well, yeah, I don't think it was a specific situation that made me record it. It was just the timing of it. You know? This was before the algorithm changed, so your timeline back then used to literally just be what people posted in
Yeah,
chronological order, and then you can go back to it, whatever. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like
yeah,
yeah, so it wasn't like today where if they want you to see something, it's going to be at the top. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be so. I think I had seen something in my timeline a couple different times, which means multiple people were showing it, and it was like different situations that were just so negative to support of Black life, you know. So
sure.
yeah, I think that's where the idea of that came from. I don't know if it's. I think it's off my page now, but I still have. for sure.
Yeah, no, it's a beautiful, like the song in general. The first part of the song where you're saying, good love is, and you're talking about, how to treat homeless people, having the conversation with your grandma when she really ain't got shit to talk about, and all that stuff. That part of the song really is beautiful, and then you end it with that. So I've always when I've run that album, I've always looked forward to getting to that song. So I'm gonna kick it to you now. I've picked my song of the week. Do you have a song of the week that you want to highlight?
I do, man. For my song of the week, I would probably go with "Anything for You," featuring Snap Guy P. Rest in peace. Um, when I moved out here, me and my lady and our kids, it was just us. You know what I'm saying? So going from having a community of all of your loved ones to literally just being you and your spouse, yourself. So um, I think maybe what, a year when we found out here. I think I was working out here. Now it was more than a year. I think I had been out here for maybe 2.5 years, 3 years. Um, and speaking of my first project, Gold Mine, that's the first project that I put out on iTunes.
Okay.
The person who took that picture, that was Snap Guy P. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's my homie.
Wow.
We've been cool. He went to Heights. He did the photography. And like a couple years later, after that, like he was locked in with 7.9 for their events. Like, he was one of the dopest photographers I've ever met in my life. You know what I'm saying? So
Sure.
he he had took that first album cover, like, me crouched down. We're at the end of my street. He took all those pictures. You know what I'm saying? So I found out that he was living out here for a while. Um, and he just ended up moving a little closer, and then he ended up just moving in with me and my family. You know what I'm saying? So
Wow.
he lived out here. Yeah, he lived out here with us. Um, I had built the studio and set everything up to where I can record myself. Um, and he raps. You know what I'm saying? He's a rapper too. So having him in the house, he heard me working on something. Of course, if I had an open verse, he'd walk right through and be like, "Hey man, let me try to record something on it." So if I was to let him get away with that every time he asked, he'd probably be on every song that I just got to get more strict. Like, hey, I'm gonna record something right here. You know what I'm saying? Don't mess with that. I'm gonna record something here, but on the song that I'm gonna pick, "Anything for You," he's on there, and it's fire, man. It's a dope song.
and that's on Red to Record, right? The latest project.
Yes, sir. So that's on the most recent project. Again, he took the album artwork cover for that. You know what I'm saying? He took those pictures for me while he was out here. Um, but yeah, he's on that project a couple times. He's on there a couple times. But he watched me record that in the studio. He was really probably the only person who was, aside from my fiance, the only person who was actually in here, who got to hear anything before it came out. You know what I'm saying? So usually that'd be the select few of homies that we have in Cleveland. You probably would have been in that circle if I was at home.
For
Ed,
sure.
Mob, everybody. But he was the only person out here. So I think for the song of the week, I got to include.
That's what's up, man. All right, shouts out to that one. I like that project as well. Just a couple more questions, and then I'll get you out of here. Any more music? Any projects coming up that we can look forward to?
Yeah, so I had took a break. You know, take care of my family, get my life right to where I want to be. But I am back cooking shit up. So I'll probably say at least by this winter, maybe
Okay.
I'll have more than just a bunch of new shit to come out.
Okay. All right. And then my last question, I'm just curious. MJ or Prince?
All right, man. I'm gonna go with MJ for me.
Okay.
I'm gonna go with MJ for me. Again, I grew up. My mom was a Michael Jackson fanatic. She was one of the people who would have fainted if she saw him. Like, if she was one of them. She had a suitcase with all of his, like, hard copy, the physical copies of everything she ever bought. So I was I was kind of raised more on Michael.
Yeah.
Prince is
We
higher.
we had a discussion, I can't remember how many weeks ago, but on this podcast we were talking, and I was saying, like, some black households are either Michael or Prince households. They're
Yeah,
not necessarily both.
it's not both. It's there's very little both. My mom
Yeah.
didn't give me no hard time when I listened to Prince, but It's Michael for her for sure.
And my mom was the same way. It was never no hate towards Prince, right? Like we loved Prince, we respected Prince, but if we was gonna throw on an album, it was gonna be Michael.
Yep.
So, nah, for sure. Well, look, man, I appreciate your time. I know you're a busy guy, and I appreciate your music, man. I've been a fan since we started linking up back in 2015, 16, somewhere in that time frame. So it's been dope chopping it up with you, and I appreciate you coming on the show.
Yeah, I appreciate you, bro. You've been genuine since I met you, so I've always appreciated your, honest opinion, and you're my boy. Like I would have been there no matter what I had. So I
I
appreciate.
pre- yeah, for sure. All right, well, this is Song of the Week. I'm your co-host Jordan. We want to thank Dave Love for hopping on. Until next time, we're out of here. Peace.